I will go ahead and call the meeting, the Finance Committee of the Central Midlands Regional Transit Authority to order. It is Wednesday, July 14th, and it is 10:05 a.m. We have a quorum by the presence of myself, Dr. Morris, and Mr. Lawson as voting members. And then I'd like to also note that Mr. Green is present as well as an advisory member of the board. I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion and second. All in favor? Aye.
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 All right, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the minutes from the June 9th meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Both of those items passed. Item number 4, matters referred from the Board of Directors. Looks like there's one item. Leroy, would you like to discuss any updates on returning to in-person meetings?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Item number 4, the open motions list. It says on here, confer with Chairman Huggins about resuming to in-person meetings. Is there any update on that?
I haven't gotten an update from the chairman on that yet.
Okay, all right. So no real updates on that matter. Still open. Any questions?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair. I would suggest that the Finance Committee go on record of suggesting that we return to open meeting in September.
Okay. I think it's not on the agenda. I don't know if we could actually take formal action on that. But we could certainly relay to the full board that if everybody that's on this call sort of is in agreement with Dr. Morris's
That's
sentiment there.
only a suggestion. Only
Yeah.
a suggestion.
Well, I agree with you. I think, returning to in-person meetings is appropriate at this point. Mr. Lawson, Mr. Green, do you have any comments or thoughts? I think, Mr. Green, you're on mute.
No, I mean, I don't have any comments towards it either way. Whatever the board decides, it's fine with me.
And I was saying I would rather it to happen sooner rather than later. I mean, so I would even think August would be fine with me.
Okay.
And Mr. Smith, this is Leroy again. I know the chairman wanted to report back at this upcoming board meeting. Oh, and I know he wanted to poll all the other board members before that. But,
Right.
that's when he was going to report back, was at this upcoming July board meeting.
Right. Well, Dr. Morris, if this would be okay with you, I'm happy to relay to Chairman Huggins that we discussed at the Finance Committee and that there's general agreement that returning to in-person meetings is appropriate at this time. Is that?
Yes, just emphasize that, some of the board members want to return in September. I heard Mr. Green say August, but I guess we would have to vote on that in this coming meeting and give us a little time to pull ourselves together by September.
Okay. Well, I will relay that general kind of sentiment to the chair when he and I next talk, and then we can discuss it, of course, as a full board at our next meeting in a couple weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So I think that's all for item number 4. Item number 5 is a monthly financial report from Ms. Andrews and the finance staff. Can't hear you very well, Roz. Can you get it closer to a microphone?
Can you hear me okay now?
A little better.
Hold on. I'm going to ask, I hear like a tap in the background. Rosalind, we can't hear you.
Hold on.
That's what I was gonna say too, Rosalind. There's a tapping in the background. I don't know
Yeah,
who has that.
I think that's coming from, Dr. Morris, I think that's coming from your phone.
I don't hear anything.
Okay.
The only, see, I'm
Dr.
in a
Morris.
quiet place.
you're actually clearer now, and that tapping is a
Yeah.
lot softer. So I think whatever you're doing right now, keep doing it because that's better.
Okay, all right then, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Alrighty,
Thank you.
so can you guys hear me better?
A little better. If you can get even closer to a microphone, that might be.
Hey, so I suggest everybody just mute their phone and allow Roz to go, and then maybe that'll clear things up.
Agreed. Thank you, Mr. Lawson.
Okay.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, that's better.
That's better.
Okay, testing 1, 2, I'm still coming through clear? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start at page 7. As always, going over the financial highlights. This kind of summarizes everything that's attached in the next couple pages. We start out with whether we have a net income or net loss. This month, the month of May, I'm sorry, I didn't change the top of this, but we're at a deficit of 386,000. Year to date, we're still on a positive note of 1.4 million. Total revenue, again, would be all money that's coming in. Here to date, we did a little over $2 million. Year to date is $27 million. Michelle did great with going out and getting some ECHO money, which will show up in the next month, hopefully show up within the next month's reporting. Total expenses with depreciation included, again, that would be money that we spend out, 2.73 million. Year to date, 29 million. Year to date paid to RATP Dev contractor, that includes the 90% agreement with the standstill agreement. We paid them through April. So this is all money through April, $10.5 million. The next section is a breakout of some of the contract, some certain items you guys wanted to see, which are the contract services, the marketing budget line, and security services. So they are there broken down by which vendors we pay, how much we pay them in that month. Next bullet item is total collections of the penny revenue since inception. So to date, we've collected a little over 140 million of the 300 promised to us. There's the remaining balance. And just to show you in this fiscal year, the money that we have collected from Richland County. Any questions?
Any questions for Roz? Roz, you mentioned the standstill agreement. We're still paying 90% of all invoices. Is that correct?
Correct. But I was just pointed out to me last week by Mike Hubble that basically the 90%, well, yeah, we paid 90% so far, but going forward, he said if there's no dispute with an invoice, we are to pay 100%. So for February, March, April, and May, we only did, February, March, and April, we only did 90%, but I have May and I didn't have any dispute. So for May's invoice, I'm expecting to pay at 100%.
So like on page 8, when you show the contract operator payment,
That's the expenses that were reported, not so much a payment.
yeah, I'm sorry. So expenses, and are you including 100% of the invoices?
Yes.
The purposes of, okay, so we're not looking at another 10%.
Right.
That's hit our expense.
That's the total number there. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions for Roz?
I don't have a question, but I have a suggestion. Roz, when you update your report,
Yes, sir.
and you send it out like you did in June, the update on the morning of the meeting, I don't get a chance, I don't have access to a computer that early in the morning. Could you update it no later than the day before?
Are you referring to the check register for the board meeting or
Well,
just,
whenever you update something, if you update it at 9 o'clock, then obviously some of us may not be able to review it. But if you update it the day before, then that would be adequate time for me to review it.
okay. Will do.
Thank you.
And generally, Roz, it is the check register, right, that gets updated kind of right before.
Yeah, that's the only, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll send it the day before.
Big picture, Roz, are we kind of, I mean, I can obviously see the big picture, but you're into the fiscal year now and everything looks pretty good for the fiscal year.
I did a quick review, I'd say with the money that Michelle has requested, you know, we were able to put it on the books. So yeah, I think we'll end on a positive note. We're trying to get everything, make sure we go to all vendors, request anything, because a lot of them like to hold their invoices for whatever reason. So now it's the point when we go down and make sure we get everything captured.
So I take it that a lot of that work that Michelle's done is this federal line item.
Yes,
So I'm looking at page 8, you know, we're 1.6 million on a $19 million budget. I take it that 19 is really stimulus money, right? Or maybe not stimulus, but
yeah, a lot of the CARES Act funding and
Yeah.
when we use operations, yes. And just to toss out there, I don't think a lot of you are aware, but with the standstill agreement with RATP Dev, and you got and them being allowed to just send in minimal stuff, we can't go and get reimbursements from FTA without all the money. So again, she did do a drawdown. I think it equated to like a little over $2 million, but it would have been more if we were able to go and get reimbursement for the RATP debt operation part.
and is it the case that we're working towards a situation where we will be able to reach back and get that data
Right, correct,
and,
yes,
and still claim the money in time?
yes, sir.
Okay.
And Michelle, if I'm saying anything different or something needs to be added on, feel free to chime in.
No, that's correct. In fact, we have almost a full year of RATP Dev operating invoices that I can draw down against the CARES Act money. I'm just waiting for a consistency in those invoices and the appropriate backup with those invoices before I draw it down.
Okay. And Michelle, you've seen progress on that front?
I have heard of progress on that front, yes.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Any other questions for Roz or Michelle? I think I have one quick one on, I think it's a related matter. Any updates? I think there's an update on potential grant funding for alternative fuel vehicles, right?
Correct. So, well, I'll let Michelle speak on it.
We have been applying for the low-no emission grant since 2018, and I'm pleased to announce that we were awarded this grant for FY 2021. We'll be getting about 2.9 million, which should allow us to purchase 2 electric and 2 hydrogen fuel cell vehicles and associated structure that goes along with it. So this is brand new for us. It's very exciting. It's a big deal. We'll be working towards that in the next several months to get it started. We're partnering with CTE to get this done, and we're excited.
Excellent. Thank you. That's good news. And so if I understand, we're kind of dipping our toe in the water on 2 different technologies then, and then based on how that goes, we could potentially choose one over the other for
Correct.
future?
If we prefer one to another, I would imagine we would spend more to upgrade that infrastructure and from that point on purchase more. But this grant allows us to get the infrastructure in at very little cost to us, which is significant.
Very good. Thank you for your hard work. Yeah,
Mr.
Dr.
Chair,
Morris.
I know when Mr. Andor was with the board, he had said that he was going to investigate some free electrical buses. And I think Mr. Deschamps was supposed to look into that. But if we are going to have, through the grant that was just discussed, then we probably can just wait and see whether we're going to get 2 hydrogen bus and 2 electric buses.
Dr. Morris, this is Leroy. Yes, we did look back and found the email trail, and the last update that John got at the end of March is it was Proterra, and they said that they could not support a free demonstration. We were looking at 1, 2, 3 months. So, you know, they mentioned about lease buses, but they didn't have anything that we could use from a demo standpoint. So, like you said, with the grant that was just awarded, I think our focus should go there and move that forward.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Leroy, while we're on that topic, I have a question for you. So what's the makeup of this new award? Are we shooting for 1, maybe I missed it. Are we shooting for 1 hydrogen and 1 electric?
Well, I know with my discussion with Michelle, our grants person, and I guess feedback from the board is we were going to look at, do we have to do both, or should we focus on one? Or, you know, does the grant give us the flexibility to do that? So I know Michelle was going to follow up on that and see if that's an option. And from there, I think we'll take the direction from the board.
Okay, so Michelle, we haven't gotten clear and concise confirmation about what the grant allows us to do at the moment.
No, we applied for 2 hydrogen and 2 electric, and that's what the grant and the associated infrastructure, and that's what we were awarded.
Okay, 2
I was
hydrogen and 2
gonna ask
electric.
if there's any flexibility before we submit the finalized application. We've got the money sitting out there, and we have to put it into the system as exactly what we need and what we want. But I was going to get some clarification to see if there's any wiggle room within that budget, if we need a little bit more for one or a little bit less for the other. I just wanted to do that because I figured that question would likely come up.
Absolutely. That answers my question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any additional comments from staff on item number 5? Or questions to staff from committee members? All right, hearing none, thank you very much, finance staff, for good report and good positive news, I think, on a number of different fronts. Thank you for your hard work. Item number 6, DBE update from Dr. Prince.
Good morning. There's a DBE report on page 23 of the packet that you received. This information reflects July 1st, 2020 up through June 30th, 2021. On the right side of the chart that you have, there's a column that says the comment paid vendor year to date. This information is taken directly from our financial register. For amount DBE paid year to date, if it's 100%, then it comes from our our financial register. If not, if it's less than 100%, then it's information that I receive directly from the vendor, and they also provide me proof of payment. If you look all the way down to the very bottom, which is total payment, the company has paid vendors approximately $17.3 million, and of that amount, approximately $5.7 million has been paid to DBE firm. And once you do the calculation, you divide the 5.6 or 5.7 by the 17.3 million, you come up with approximately 32.6%. And I'm continuing to monitor all these payments on a monthly basis. That's it, unless there are questions.
Questions for Dr. Prince? right, hearing none. Thank you. Thank you for that report, Dr. Prince.
welcome.
Sounds very positive and encouraging. It sounds like, especially our RATP Dev, you know, they're far exceeding their goal when they make up the bulk of our expenses. So that really helps our overall DBE performance. So,
And I just want to add, when it comes to RATP Dev, their amount, the total amount paid to date, I'm using to be consistent with our financial highlights. I'm using the same month. So the 10.5 million is the same amount that our finance director reported earlier. So I'm consistent with what she's reporting in terms of payment made to date.
now, it just sort of occurred to me when I made that comment. You know, we've obviously not paid them 100% of what their invoices say. So when we true that up, I take it the DBE percentage will go down a little bit.
Yes, that's correct.
But simple, like, you know, simple math would tell me that it's not going to go down enough that they're in jeopardy of not meeting that 20.06% goal.
Yes, I think they'll still be above that amount.
Yeah.
Once all payments are made.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions? Comments? All right. So item number 7, discussion and action items. There's nothing on the agenda, but is there anything, committee members or staff, any other discussion points?
No discussion points here. I'm excited about the grant we were awarded and look forward to moving forward with that process.
Agreed. Thank you. Yep. All right. Well, hearing none, there's nothing right under legal contractual personnel that would require executive session, correct? All right. So then, unless there's something else for the good of the committee, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. I'll second
Sorry,
that.
I was on mute.
That's all
I'll
right.
second.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. So all in favor? Aye.
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 All right. Thank you for efficient, I want to say productive meeting, certainly productive as it pertains to receiving, you know, good information and good news. So thank you to staff and thank you for the committee members for all of your hard work. We'll see you in a couple weeks, board meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and staff.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Have a great day.
Have a good day.
Thank you, everybody.